The year is 1372 England. In a small stone village nestled between rolling hills, the church stood as the heart of life. Its bell tower, tall and weathered by time, looked down on the people as if God himself kept watch. On this cold Sunday morning, smoke from cottage hearths curled into the pale sky while villagers gathered, wrapped in cloaks and simple woolen garments. Inside the church, the air was heavy with incense. Candles flickered against the stained glass, casting red and gold glimmers on the stone walls. The villagers sat in silence, listening to the priest's steady voice. Each word carried weight, for in this world, silence was reverence, and reverence was survival. Among the congregation sat a young woman of 22. Her name was Alina. She wore a plain grey dress, patched at the hem, and her golden hair was braided down her back. Though humble in appearance, her spirit often wandered beyond the rigid expectations of her world. She leaned toward her friend, seated beside her, and whispered softly. The whisper was harmless, barely a breath, but it stirred where silence was demanded. Her lips curled into the shadow of a smile. To her, it was nothing. To the church, it was everything. The priest's voice faltered. His eyes, sharp as iron, fixed upon her. The murmurs ceased. Alina felt the stillness press down like a weight. Silence in the house of God, the priest said, his voice echoing beneath the high stone arches. A flush crept into Alina's cheeks. She lowered her head, clasping her hands in her lap. The congregation shifted, the sound of coughs and shuffling feet filling the space where her whisper had been. Shame burned within her, but still, there lingered that spark of defiance in her eyes. The sermon resumed. The words droned, heavy with scripture and warning, yet Alina's thoughts wandered again. Without meaning to, her lips moved toward her friend. A quiet whisper slipped free, delicate as a moth in the dark. This time, the priest's voice cut like a blade. Enough. The bells tolled once, their deep song rolling through the rafters. Villagers turned, faces drawn with both fear and curiosity. You, the priest said, pointing a firm hand toward her, have disrespected the sanctity of this house. Once you were warned. Now you shall be taught. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Alina's heart sank, but her chin remained firm. The great doors groaned as they opened, spilling the congregation into the chill of the courtyard. The square filled quickly, boots and clogs clattering against the cobblestones. Above them, the bells tolled again, summoning not joy, not prayer, but judgment. At the center of the courtyard stood a wooden post, scarred with the memory of many punishments. It was where thieves, drunkards, and sinners were shown their lesson. Today, it would be Alina. The priest raised his voice so all could hear. For speaking against silence in God's house, 3 lashes shall be given beneath his holy bells. Let it be a warning to all. Alina was guided to the post by the church beadle, a stern man with arms like oak branches. Her wrists were tied loosely, not to harm her, but to hold her steady. The villagers formed a circle, their breath white in the winter air. Some pitied her. Others, especially the older women, nodded in grim approval. The beadle stepped forward, whip in hand. It was braided leather, worn from years of use, its tip snapping in the air as if eager for flesh. The priest raised his hand. 3 lashes. No more, no less. With each, let the bells toll. The first lash cracked against her back. The sound split the silence, sharp and cruel. Alina gasped, her body jolting, though the grey fabric of her dress absorbed some of the blow. Above, the bell tolled once, its deep chime rolling across the village. The second lash fell, fiercer than the first. She bit her lip until it bled, refusing to cry out. Murmurs rose among the crowd. Some children peeked from behind their mothers, eyes wide with both terror and fascination. Again, the bell tolled, marking her pain in solemn rhythm. The third lash came swiftly. Her shoulders flinched, her breath shuddered, but still she did not break. The crowd leaned in, waiting for her tears, yet she gave them none. The bell tolled a final time, its echo fading into the cold air like the closing of a story. The beadle stepped back. The priest lifted his voice, carrying his words across the square. Discipline is mercy. Let all remember, silence before the Lord is obedience. The ropes were untied. Alina's back throbbed with pain, her body stiff, but she stood tall. She would not give them the sight of her bowed. The whispers began at once. Some villagers shook their heads. Others avoided her gaze. A few, quietly, admired her strength. She walked slowly from the post, her grey dress swaying, her golden braid shining in the weak light. Her pride was wounded, her skin burning, but her spirit was unbroken. The bells, still swaying, rang on above the church. Their deep voices carried across the fields and forests, not only marking her punishment but carving her name into the memory of the village. 4 years to come, the story of 3 lashes under church bells would be whispered ironically, in the very silence she had once broken.